Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Chapter 24.
Cao Cao, the big warlord figure, finding something called the Belt Edict. What exactly was this thing hidden away like that, and why was it such an existential threat to him?
Right, so this wasn't just any letter, it was a secret imperial decree, actually signed by Emperor Xian himself, the emperor, and it was literally sewn into a belt, hence the name.
Wow, okay. Very cloak and dagger.
Very much so. Its sole purpose was to basically orchestrate Cao Cao's removal from power, get rid of him. And when Cao Cao found out, his immediate reaction, according to the sources, was just pure rage. He wanted to depose the emperor right then and there, put someone else on the throne.
That's incredibly drastic, even for Cao Cao, who we know could be ruthless. But the sources say he actually stopped himself. He paused. What does that tell us? Was it calculation kicking in over instinct?
That pause is really key, isn't it? His first impulse was, revolutionary, but his advisor, Cheng Yu, a very astute guy, stepped in, and Cheng Yu basically said, hold on. He explained that Cao Cao's huge authority, his ability to command everyone, it didn't just come from his own strength, it came from the fact that he was acting in the name of the Han Dynasty.
Ah, the legitimacy factor.
Exactly. If he acted too soon, deposed the emperor, while other big warlords were still out there watching, well, it'd just ignite a massive civil war he maybe wasn't ready for.
So even his ruthlessness had this pragmatic edge. He understood, okay, maintain the illusion, the support of the Han name. That's more powerful right now than open rebellion.
Precisely. Keep the emperor as a figurehead, at least for the time being.
But, okay, the emperor was spared for the moment. Cao Cao's wrath, though, it wasn't contained, was it?
Yeah.
The conspirators behind the Belt Edict, Dongcheng, and 4 others, they face more than just execution. It sounds like utter obliteration.
Oh, it's horrific. A purge on a scale that's hard to comprehend.
Yeah.
Cao Cao ordered not just the 5 main conspirators executed, but their entire families along with them.
Whole families.
Everyone. Old, young, didn't matter. The sources state over 700 people were put to death.
700.
Yeah. This wasn't just about removing immediate threats. It was a message. A terrifying, undeniable message about the absolute cost of crossing Cao Cao.
And the reaction in the city. It speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Oh.
People weeping openly, officials, common folk, watching these mass executions.
Absolutely. It wasn't just fear. There was clearly grief and shock, too. And it lingered. Later on, poems were written about this.
Right, I read about those. Immortalizing Dongcheng and the others. Something about a secret edict passed by a belt.
Yes, and their red hearts, meaning their loyalty leading to the sacrifice of hundreds of mouths, meaning their families. But the poems say their loyalty was enough for 1,000 autumns.
So even amidst the terror, there's this undercurrent of sympathy, maybe defiance.
I think so. It shows that even under that kind of brutal power, the memory of those who tried to stand for the Han cause, even futilely, it endured. The execution solidified Cao Cao's control, no doubt, but those poems hint at something deeper.
But the bloodshed wasn't over, was it? The sources say Cao Cao's fury was unquenched. His next target was inside the palace itself, Consort Dong, and he went himself, sword in hand.
Yes, and what makes Consort Dong's situation so incredibly tragic is her vulnerability. She was Dongsheng's sister, sure, a favored consort of Emperor Xian, but crucially, she was 5 months pregnant.
Oh, no.
She wasn't a plotter, not a politician, just caught in the absolute worst place at the worst time.
The sources paint this really desperate scene. The emperor and Empress Fu are talking about Dongcheng, and suddenly Cao Cao just bursts in, furious.
Yeah, apparently the emperor was so terrified he initially thought it was Dong Zhu, another infamous tyrant.
Right, shows a state of mind. But Cao Cao clarifies, then presses him about this broken finger incident. Something related to signing the edict.
A detail suggesting the emperor knew about the edict, maybe even pricked his finger to sign it in blood secretly. The emperor was apparently speechless, just claimed ignorance.
Whether he knew or was just terrified, it didn't matter to Cao Cao, did it? The cruelty just ramps up.
It really does. The emperor pleads for Consort Dong's life. He points out she's pregnant, significantly pregnant.
A basic human appeal, you'd think.
But Cao's response is just chillingly pragmatic. He basically says he fears the child, if born, would grow up seeking revenge. He called them potential rebellious offspring.
So even the unborn child was a threat in his eyes.
Exactly. Empress Fu even suggests, okay, maybe exile her to the cold palace until the baby's born, then kill her. But Cao rejects even that. Too risky.
Unbelievable. And the emperor's reaction, just utter helplessness.
Total grief. Consort Dawn's last wish, apparently, was just to have a whole body for burial. Cao Cao provides white silk for strangulation.
Oh, God.
The emperor wept, the text says, tears like pouring rain, telling her, don't blame me in the afterlife. Empress Fu was crying, too.
And Cao Cao's response to this raw grief.
It's just cold dismissal, something like still acting like children, zero empathy.
And she was. She was killed right there.
Right. Dragged out and strangled outside the palace gate. There's another lamenting poem mentioned, highlighting how even being an imperial consort meant nothing, and how the dragon seed, the potential imperial offspring, was destroyed along with her.
It really underscores how powerless the emperor had become. Just a figurehead caught in Cao Cao's grip.
Completely. The last shreds of real imperial authority were just being torn away brutally and publicly.
So, with the palace purged, his immediate enemies literally wiped out. What did Cao Cao do next to solidify things, to make sure this couldn't happen again?
He moved fast. First, a decree. No external relatives allowed in the palace without his explicit permission. Punishment, death. And the guards would be punished too if they were lax.
Locking it down.
Totally locking it down. Then he brings in 3,000 of his own loyal troops, his heart and flesh men, as the new imperial guards. Puts his relative Cao Hong in charge.
So the palace basically becomes his personal fortress.
Effectively, yes. It removes any remaining internal autonomy the Han court might have had. It's no longer just influencing the emperor, it's controlling his entire environment. The power shift is undeniable.
Right, and Cao Cao, clearly not someone to sit back. Despite this bloody consolidation, he's immediately looking ahead, isn't he? Talking strategy with Cheng Yu again. Who's next on the chopping block?
Yeah, no rest. The discussion turns to Ma Teng and Liu Bei. They're identified as the next major potential threats that need dealing with.
Two big names. How did Cheng Yu advise tackling them? Same cautious approach.
Pretty much. For Ma Teng, out west in Zhejiang, Cheng Yu suggests a softer approach first. Send appeasement letters, try to lure him to the capital. Avoid a costly Western campaign for now.
Makes sense. And Liu Bei, he was in Zuzhu.
Yes. And Cheng Yu warns against attacking Liu Bei directly at this point. Two main reasons. Liu Bei had dug in, his defense was strong, but more critically, Yuan Shao.
Ah, the big rival to the north.
Exactly. Yuan Shao was positioned menacingly up at Wundu, constantly threatening Shudu, which was Cao Cao's main base. Cheng Yu argued, look, if you attack Liu Bei now, Yuan Shao will take the opportunity to attack your rear. You'll be caught between two fronts.
That sounds like solid strategic thinking. Very rational. But Cao Cao, he saw it differently, especially regarding Liu Bei.
He did. And this is where you really see Cao Cao's maybe strategic genius, or at least his decisiveness. He just completely rebuts Cheng Yu.
Really? What was his reasoning?
He declares Liu Bei is a hero and Ren Jie, a man of outstanding talent, and because of that, he must be dealt with now before he gets any stronger.
So nip it in the bud.
Precisely. And Yuan Shao, Cao Cao basically dismisses him. Says he's strong on paper, sure, but he's prone to indecision, to doubt. He won't act decisively. He saw Yuan Shao as someone who'd ultimately defeat himself.
That's a bold call, dismissing Yuan Shao like that.
Yeah.
But he saw Liu Bei as the more dangerous long-term prospect.
Absolutely. Liu Bei had potential, charisma, the hero quality. If left unchecked, he could genuinely challenge Cao Cao's dominance later. Yuan Shao was powerful, but flawed in Cao Cao's assessment.
And then Guo Ji arrives, another key advisor. Did he back Cao Cao's bold play?
He did, completely. Guo Jia walks in and essentially confirms Cao Cao's assessment. He agrees Yuan Shao is indecisive, hampered by jealous advisors, basically ineffective despite his size.
Okay.
And crucially, Guo Jia confirms that Liu Bei's army, being newly formed after recent setbacks, likely had unstable morale. They were vulnerable. Ripe for a quick, decisive strike now.
It was the confirmation Cao Cao wanted to hear.
You bet. The sources say Cao Cao was delighted. Guo Jia echoed his own thoughts, and he didn't hesitate.
What was the move?
Immediate action. Mobilize a massive army, 200,000 troops, the sources say. Deploy them in 5 separate routes. The target, a full-scale invasion of Zuzhu to crush Liu Bei. Liu Bei is in a really, really desperate spot. Cao Cao's forces are closing in on Xiaopei. Liu Bei knows he absolutely cannot face them alone. He needs backup, fast.
That's right. And his only real hope at this point is Yuan Shao, a very powerful warlord up in Hebei, known for having huge armies. So Liu Bei sends Sun Qian, who's a trusted envoy, on this critical mission. Go ask Yuan Shao for military help. I mean, the stakes for Liu Bei couldn't be higher. It's pretty much his last shot.
And this is where it gets, well, really interesting. Sun Qian arrives in Hebei, He's ready to make the case, right? Hoping to find the mighty Yuan Shao all geared up for war. But the reception he gets and the state he finds Yuan Shao in, it's quite something. Not what you'd expect at all.
No, not at all. Sun Qin finds Yuan Shao looking, the text says, haggard and disheveled, just completely unlike his usual imposing self, clearly deeply upset.
Yeah.
And the reason, and why he flat out refuses to send troops is just profoundly human. Yuan Shao tells him his youngest son is incredibly sick, with scabies, of all things. But Yuan Shao describes him as dying.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's completely consumed by it. He says this son, out of his 5, is the most unique. Says his own life would end if the boy died. And he tells Sun Qin point blank, I have no heart to discuss other matters. Just shut down.
That's just astounding, isn't it? Meanwhile, his own advisor, Tianfeng, is practically tearing his hair out. He saw this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, strike Cao Cao while his capital, Xuchang, was relatively undefended.
Exactly. And Tianfeng is furious. He hits the ground with his staff, just lamenting this massive chance being wasted because of, as he puts it, an infant's illness.
You can almost feel that frustration boiling over.
Oh, absolutely. And Yuan Shao's response to Sun Qin is basically, look, if things don't go well for Liu Bei, well, he can come to me, then maybe I can help, which is cold comfort.
Yeah, not exactly the urgent help Liu Bei was banking on. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often these, intensely personal dramas totally derail grand strategy.
It's a perfect example, really. Personal anxiety is just eclipsing strategic ambition. And the consequences were huge. So Sun Qin has to go back to Liu Bei with this just unbelievable news. And Liu Bei is, as you'd expect, completely astonished. No help's coming. Cao Cao's almost there.
So, okay. No reinforcements. Cao Cao's breathing down his neck. Liu Bei is really backed into a corner. But then his sworn brother, Zhang Fei, who, let's be honest, is usually seen more as the brave fighter type, not the strategist.
Right, more brawn than brain, typically in this story.
He comes up with this incredibly audacious plan. A surprise night raid on Cao Cao's camp. What's his thinking there? And why does Liu Bei, surprisingly, kind of go for it?
Well, Zhang Fei figures Cao Cao's army must be tired after the long march, vulnerable to a shock attack in the dark. Simple logic, really. And maybe it was desperation. Maybe Liu Bei saw the kernel of a good idea. But despite Zhang Fei's reputation, Liu Bei accepts it. He even says it's according to military strategy.
Mm-hmm. So he saw something in it.
It was a massive gamble. High risk, but potentially high reward if it worked.
Okay, so as Liu Bei and Zhang Fei are prepping this desperate move, something kind of weird happens over on Cao Cao's side, right? Something that might just flip the script entirely.
That's right. As Cao Cao was marching toward Xiaopei, suddenly this strong southeast wind whips up and crack. It snaps his main battle standard. The corner flag, the blue and red one, that's a big deal, a symbolic thing.
And Cao Cao doesn't just ignore it. He sees it immediately as an omen.
Instantly.
Mm-hmm.
He calls in his top strategists, Sun Yu and Mao Ji.
And get this, they both, independently, look at the broken flag, the colors, the wind direction, and say, yep, night raid incoming from Liu Bei.
It's uncanny.
So this omen for Cao Cao, I mean, is there a logical explanation, or are we talking actual fate intervening here? It's such a fascinating question about leadership, isn't it?
It really is. You're right at that intersection of, belief, maybe superstition, and just sharp military thinking. Was it a real omen? A sign favoring the villain, that term, Jiang Sheng, often used for Cao Cao. Or was Cao Cao just brilliant?
Or maybe just paying attention.
Exactly. He knew Liu Bei was desperate. Desperate people take risks.
Yeah.
And maybe the wind just felt suspicious. But whatever it was, he acted on it decisively. A leader like Cao Cao uses everything. Real or perceived advantage, doesn't matter. He turns it into confidence, action. It fires up his troops.
Yeah, as the poem in the text says, it really seemed like heaven was giving Cao Cao the heads up, leaving Liu Bei totally isolated.
And Cao Cao didn't just react. He prepared meticulously.
Oh yeah, tell us about that setup. It wasn't just random defense.
No way.
Yeah.
He divides his army into 9 divisions, sets up one completely empty camp as bait, pure decoy, then surrounds it with 8 hidden ambushes, a kill box, basically.
And he puts his best guys in charge of each direction, right?
His absolute top generals,
Yeah.
You've got Zan Liao in the east, Zhu Chu west, Yu Jin south, Li Dai in north, then Xu Huang southeast, Li Jin southwest, Xiahou Dun northeast, and Xiahou Yu in northwest. Every escape route covered. An iron net.
So picture Zhang Fei, full of confidence, charging into what he thinks is Cao Cao's main camp,
Expecting chaos, tired soldiers,
and finds nothing. Just an empty space.
and boom, fire arrows, torches flare up, shouts from absolutely everywhere. He realizes, just like that, He's walked straight into it. A perfect trap.
And the worst part for Zhang Fei? His own soldiers.
Oh, it's brutal. A lot of his troops had actually served under Cao Cao before. The moment they see the trap, see how hopeless it is, they just surrender, turn their coats immediately, abandon Zhang Fei completely.
Wow. So Zhang Fei, fierce warrior that he is, he's basically alone now, fighting for his life.
He fights desperately, cuts a blood path, the text says, clashes with Xu Huang and Li Jin trying to break out. He actually manages to punch through, but with only like a few dozen riders left, a tiny fraction of his force.
Then where can he even go? His situation is terrible.
Absolutely dire. He can't go back to Xiaopei. Cao Cao's forces are blocking it, trying for Zhu or Xiaopei. Too far, too risky, he'd likely be intercepted. So with nowhere else to turn, Zhang Fei flees towards Mangding Mountain, his big, audacious night raid, totally crushed. And Liu Bei is left more vulnerable than ever before.
Liu Bei, Swan Day. Right. He tries this nighttime raid on an enemy camp. Bold move.
Very bold. Maybe too bold.
Well, it goes sideways. Fast. He gets near the camp gate and boom, shouts everywhere. An enemy force led by Xiahou Dun cuts off like half his troops from behind.
Ouch. Ambush turned counter-ambush.
Exactly. Then another general, Xiahou Yuan, starts chasing him from the rear. It's striking just how quickly it all falls apart.
Total chaos.
He looks back, and he's only got about 30 cavalry riders left with him. Just think about that. You start with a fighting force, and in, what, minutes? Hours. You're down to 30 people.
From a tactical view, what does that tell us? That kind of rapid collapse.
It's brutal. It just highlights how incredibly unforgiving ancient warfare was. One failed ambush, a better prepared enemy like Cao Cao's generals.
Who were clearly well-positioned.
Right, and suddenly you're not just retreating, you're in a complete rout. It speaks to the power of surprise, overwhelming numbers, once your unit cohesion breaks.
It's every man for himself. Total disintegration.
Liu Bei tries to get back to Xiaopei, his home base, but he sees it. It's already on fire.
So option one is gone. Just like that.
Gone. He then thinks, okay, maybe Zuzu or Shapi. But Cao Cao's armies are, the text says, filling the mountains and blocking the roads.
Wow. Literally cutting off every escape route.
He's trapped. Which really raises that question, doesn't it? What do you do when all your obvious paths are gone? When even falling back seems impossible?
Desperate times.
He remembers an old offer, Yuan Shao. He told him once, if things go south, come find me.
A potential lifeline.
So, with basically no other choice, Liu Bei decides to head towards Qingzhou. It's this distant territory, hoping it's outside Cao Cao's immediate grasp, maybe under Yuan Shao's influence.
A long shot, but maybe the only shot.
But even that isn't easy. He runs smack into Li Dian, another one of Cao Cao's tough generals, blocks his path.
Of course, more obstacles.
Liu Bei, just him on his horse now, has to flee across the wilderness, just bolts north. And Li Dian captures the 30 or so followers he had left.
So now he's truly alone.
Can you imagine that? Just the sheer desperation. Alone, one horse, everything lost. Everything.
If you connect this back to the bigger picture, it really highlights the just the brutal attrition. You start with an army, hours later you're a lone rider.
Yeah.
But remembering that offer from Yuan Shao, it's not just desperation. It's a lifeline, sure, but it's also kind of a strategic gamble. It speaks to his ability to think ahead, maybe, even in total defeat.
Yeah.
It shows that even when you're physically broken, your political connections, your network, that can be your last hope.
That makes sense. So Liu Bei, on this single horse, he covers an incredible distance, 300 miles a day. That's like, what, nearly 100 miles?
Grueling, just imagine that ride. For one man, desperate.
When he finally gets to the city gates of Qingzhou, he just calls out his name. The gate official goes to report it, and it turns out the governor is Yuan Shao's eldest son, Yuan Tan.
Okay, interesting connection there.
And apparently Yuan Tan actually held Liu Bei in pretty high regard, surprisingly high.
Really? Even though Liu Bei's just been routed.
Yeah. So hearing Liu Bei's arrived, alone, single horse, Yuan Tan immediately opens the gates, welcomes him right in.
Wow. Now that is a crucial moment. It really shows the power of, call it soft influence, in a world run by hard power.
Right. Explain that a bit.
Well, Liu Bei, he's got no army, nothing. He literally walks into safety because of his name, his reputation, the past kindness maybe he showed Yuan Tan.
Right.
It's a stark reminder. Even in these brutal conflicts, your personal character, the relationships you build, That could be your ultimate lifeline. It can open doors that military strength just can't.
So Liu Bei explains everything, his defeat, his need for refuge. And Yuan Tan, he doesn't just help him, he puts him up in a guest house, sends a letter off to his dad, Yuan Shao, and even sends some of his own men to escort Liu Bei further.
So he's treating him like a valuable asset, not just a refugee.
Exactly. And then the situation takes another turn, quite unexpected. When Liu Bei reaches the border of Pingguan, Yuan Shao himself leads this big group, 30 Laon out from Yu Commandery, just to personally welcome him.
Yuan Shao himself comes out. That's a huge gesture.
Huge. Liu Bei bows, grateful. And Yuan Shao, in this surprising display of, humility, quickly returns the bow. He actually apologizes.
Apologizes?
For what? For not coming to help Liu Bei earlier. Says his son was ill and he'd been, quote, unhappy about it. He even claims meeting Liu Bei now fulfills this long-held wish.
Okay, hold on. What's going on here? Is this genuine warmth? Or is this strategy?
That's the question, isn't it?
I mean, Yuan Shao's big welcome, the apology, even if it's partly for show, it's incredibly significant.
Yeah.
This isn't just being polite.
No.
It's a very shrewd political move. By publicly embracing Liu Bei, who's still a famous figure, despite this defeat, Yuan Shao isn't just getting a talented general, potentially.
Right.
He's sending a really clear message to Cao Cao, like, look who's on my side now.
Okay. It's a power play against Cao Cao.
Exactly. It's strategic poaching of talent, and it's a bold challenge to Cao Cao's growing power. It shows how even a seemingly small act, like welcoming a defeated general, can shift the whole political chessboard.
And Liu Bei plays his part perfectly, too. Humbly calls himself Lonely Liu Bei, says he always wanted to serve Yuan Shao, explains Cao Cao attacked him, captured his family.
Laying it on a bit thick, maybe.
Maybe. But he says he sought refuge because of Yuan Shao's reputation for welcoming talent, and he pledges to repay the kindness.
Smart move. Ticks all the boxes for Yuan Shao.
And Yuan Shao is clearly pleased, treats Liu Bei with great respect, lets him stay in Jizu. So, for now, Liu Bei has found a safe place, a temporary one at least.
But, and there's always a but in this story.
Always. While Liu Bei is making this desperate escape and finding a new patron, Cao Cao, he's not exactly taking a break.
No, Cao Cao doesn't be breaks.
That very same night Liu Bei fled, Cao Cao captures Xiaopei. Liu Bei's now empty home base.
And he doesn't stop there, does he? Immediately after Xiaopei.
He presses the attack on Zuzhu, another key city.
Right. And Mizu and Jianyang, who Liu Bei left in charge there, loyal guys, but maybe not the strongest commanders.
They couldn't hold it. Had to abandon the city.
And then Chen Dang, this local official who's actually in the city, he just surrenders Zuzhu to Cao Cao.
So bang bang, just like you said earlier, Cao Cao takes two key cities, boom, consolidates his power. The speed is just.
Yeah, the speed of his campaign is really telling.
Yeah.
Efficient, ruthless.
So with Zuzhu secured, its people sort of settled down. Cao Cao immediately calls his advisors together. Time to talk strategy again. Next target. Xiapi.
Another crucial stronghold in the area.
And Sun Yu, one of his sharpest advisors, points out something important. Guan Yu.
Ah, the legendary Guan Yu, Liu Bei's sworn brother.
He's defending Xiapi and, crucially, protecting Liu Bei's family there. Xun Yu warns, look, we need to take Xiapi fast, before Yuan Shao Liu Bei's new boss tries to grab it.
See how interconnected it all is? Every move triggers a potential countermove.
Absolutely. And Cao Cao seems particularly interested in Guan Yu himself.
He does. Cao Cao actually says how much he admires Guan Yu, his skill, his talent, says he really wants to win him over.
Yeah, you can almost hear the respect in his voice, even in the text.
But Guo Jia, another one of Cao Cao's brilliant strategists, he jumps in pretty quickly. He's doubtful.
About winning Guan Yu over.
Yeah. He says, look, Guan Yu is deeply righteous. He's incredibly loyal to Liu Bei. He's probably not just going to surrender because someone asks nicely. Guo Jia even worries that just sending someone to talk might put that person in danger. That's how strong Guan Yu's reputation for loyalty is.
But then, an unexpected player steps up. Zhong Liao.
Okay, another of Cao Cao's key generals.
He speaks up, says, hey, I actually know Guan Yu, we have a past connection, and he offers to go try and persuade him.
A personal touch. Maybe that could work.
Well, before they decide, Cheng Yu, yet another sharp mind in Cao Cao's council, steps forward. He agrees, yeah, Zhong Liao knows him. But
he echoes Guo Jia's point.
Exactly. He says Guan Yu won't be swayed just by words. Loyalty runs too deep.
So what's the solution then?
Cheng Yu proposes a plan. A pretty cunning one, it sounds like. He says they need a strategy that will leave Guan Yu with no path forward or backward. Basically corner him completely.
Trap him. Militarily, politically, maybe psychologically.
Seems like it. Only then, Cheng Yu suggests, should Zhang Liao go and try to talk him into surrendering.
Classic strategy, isn't it? Break their options, break their will,
Hmm.
then offer them the way out you want them to take.
And the source just ends right there, teasing us with this master plan. It hints at, like, a trap being set for a fierce tiger, or maybe bait for a huge fish.
What a cliffhanger, seriously.
Isn't it?